the way you view things can help your long-time route, definitely.
Hey guys, welcome to the UpNext podcast, where we are interviewing teen entrepreneurs that are making it big time in the startup world. We are asking the questions we know you want to hear. UpNext is an app made for teens where anyone can join or build a real-life startup.
So today our guest is Deandre Jones. He's a 19-year-old entrepreneur based in UK. He's founded 2 different companies, MyPromo and Sage. And a little bit about MyPromo: it's an e-commerce app that creates sustainable affiliate programs for small businesses, which is amazing and really great and awesome idea. And, if you wanted to add anything else, Deandre, the floor is yours.
Yeah, so what MyPromo is it's a platform for a lot of these small businesses that we usually set up on Instagram alone or social media alone and don't have that experience and expertise in actually going through the process of setting up the business, registering it or even having a website. And so it's just easier for them. They can set up and they're introduced to a wider range of audience than they would have on just setting up on social media platforms alone, because a lot of the times with that, they wouldn't be able to be found.
I mean, it's pretty smart because it's kind of hard doing the whole technology thing, especially through the COVID-19, the whole process, everything has to move to digital. So it's a great idea also as well.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
I mean, we know that the best ideas are always those ideas where you hear about them and you're like, how didn't I think of that myself? Our first question: how did you find yourself creating a business? What really sparked this amazing idea?
So initially, what it was is I had just a passion for creating apps and games in my own spare time. So this would be just a hobby I would do now and again. And then it got to a point where when I was diving into and doing more research about how the apps actually got themselves onto the app stores, I found that if you did have an app or whatever, and you did want it out there on the app stores or whatever, then you would, if you didn't have your own company already, then you would need to contact a publisher and try to get it published.
Mm-hmm.
And iTunes, I found that Apple and iTunes were a lot more stricter with who publishes it. And I thought, okay, if I start my own one and kind of build it off the ground from now, I'm still quite young. When I get older, I have a good portfolio of apps and games on my company, and then perhaps I could be a publisher. That's how it started. I had a lot of game ideas, and I had like a few other people that went to my college at the time that, again, they had a few ideas, but I felt like at the time I had a bit more business knowledge than them. So I thought, okay, cool. If I start the company now, when I get a more business knowledge again, I could maybe be a publisher myself in the future and go so on and so on from there, really.
And here we are.
Yeah.
Here we are. Well, I mean, that is actually a great mindset when you think about it. When I'm still young and I'm gonna build my portfolio and build like like you said, build a portfolio of businesses that you built throughout the years, which is very smart, I have to say. The second question is, who do you consider your first mentor? What did they help you go through? Was it someone new in your life, or was it someone that you knew from your own, from your family or something like that?
It's definitely my mum and my sisters. My mum and my sister have a big impact to play. My sister,
I love that.
Yeah. So because they both have their own businesses already, they kind of help me set up mine and get everything ready and what to do. So just it gives me a little bit of a shortcut on, even the copywriting of names and logos and stuff like that. I was able to kind of just quickly dive right in there. So I'll definitely say, my mom and my sister had a big impact to play on me starting my company, and especially my sister just being that influence and kind of, not competition because she's quite a bit older than me, but it's just good to have someone to look up to as inspiration, and to think, okay, well, if they can do it, then I can do it too. And especially if I've got the help from them as well.
It really is.
It runs in the family.
Yeah. How much time did it take you to build the first product that you launched?
Okay, yeah. So the first one, that was actually a funny one. So the first product I launched, the first game I made, didn't actually get to be released, which was a good learning curve for me now that I'm looking back at it. Because what happened was I made the whole thing. I spent a little bit of money on it. I spent, for me at the time, being 17, it was a lot of money for me at the time. Put a lot into it. I think I was working on that for around about 5 months. It was about 5 months. And then in the end, amateur mistake, I only tested it right at the end on my phone. All the time I was testing it on my laptop. And I only tested it on my phone right at the end, and I found that it had a bunch of problems. And I looked at the amount of problems it had, and I thought, this is not going to be able to get released. I just literally looked at it and I said, the whole thing is going to need to be redone. So I wouldn't actually count that as my first project. My next project, which is when I said to myself, okay, I'm going to do tests throughout and run it on my phone to see if it actually runs the same as how it runs on my laptop. That one I started in January. I actually learned to code in January, and then this was January 2020, and then released that in April 2020. So around 4 months, my first product. Yeah.
Wow, that's great. Actually, you actually touched on the next question we're going to ask is, how did you pay for your first production of the first version? You talked about that you had to pay for a lot of money for at that time. How much was it? How did you actually get that first capital?
Yeah, so the first project I was talking about, so the one that didn't get released, I actually spent more money on, because again, I was a bit less experienced.
Right.
So I had to pay a few other people to help me. But that cost at the time 1.5 thousand. And yes, and that was going towards just literally paying people to help me do different things in the app. And when you first starting off on the App Store and stuff, you have to pay for your licenses and stuff with Google Play and App Store as well. I set up, so again, this is down to kind of my mentors. I watched a lot of Dragon's Den and stuff, and I really wanted to find investors. I wanted to pitch in general, just practicing my presenting skills. So my mum helped me. Well, not helped me. My mum said, okay, put together a pitch deck or whatever. Get all your finances right, what you use the money on and what you need everything for. So I put together like a pitch deck kind of presentation PowerPoint, and I pitched it to a few members of my family, and it was funded. I got investment from about 1,000 from my family, and I think I just paid for the rest. So the other 500.
Nice, not bad. That's actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
Pitching to your family. That's actually a great idea.
How did you get those first users, first customers to get onboarded, and what was it like? Was it super exciting like I think it was?
So what happened was I released it, and I didn't want to spend too much on marketing because I just didn't have a budget to spend a lot on marketing. So what I done was, a lot of it was literally everybody I know, I sent it and they sent it on, and kind of it was just word of mouth and social media promoting. I did pay for App Store marketing as well. I forgot what that's exactly called now. And Google Ads, Google Ad Mob, I think Instagram ads, even Snapchat ads. I paid for a few different advertising services as well. But when I've looked now at all the like back stats of everything, the majority of my users actually just came from word of mouth and people telling each other about it and stuff like that.
That's the way. So
yeah.
I mean, if it's a good product, people will talk about it.
Yeah, definitely.
And what is actually the next goal you're aiming for with your companies? You're managing 2 different companies. So what is the next goal?
I think my next goal for me, I don't like to set my goals too far away from where I am now and unreachable. So what it is as well, actually, with the whole companies thing is, Sage Limited is the actual overall company, and my promo is a product of Sage. Right. Yeah.
Okay.
So my next goal is, for my promo, I have a certain amount of downloads that I want to reach. I want to reach 100,000 downloads with my promo by in the first 12 months of this release. Right now, that's scheduled to be released. It was actually supposed to be released last month, but there was problems with something. So now it should be released at the end of February. So from February this year to February next year, one of my goals is to get 100,000 users on that.
What's one time where you feel like you experienced a real fail kind of moment? Like something that you wish you could go back and fix it? And how did you deal with that?
Okay, so when I first released my app, again, this was the first time that I brought something to actual production on the App Store, I realized that this was a game called Wheel It. So I've promoted it now, it went about word of mouth, and it went up quite quickly. It went charts in the first day. And then a lot of people, what happened? My niece messaged me, because my niece was like one of my biggest fans. She used to like play all the time and whatever.
Nice.
She messaged me and she was like, Deandre, like there's a big glitch on that app. I said, what is it? Because I've done a lot of tests myself and it was fine for me, but she was saying when I click the save me button, there's like a save me button with the whole gems to save yourself. She's like, when I click the save me button, after the ad plays, the app just shuts down sometimes. And this was costing me a lot of profit because, you know, that's how I was generating a lot of my profit on the ads. So the save me button not working basically lost me all my profit, and I didn't really.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it was a hard lesson to pay. And then by the time I did realize what was going on, so I looked back at it now. This was only happening with iPhone users. I looked back at it now, and it was like some different thing that didn't get converted properly. I changed it. I made an update, but I feel like with a lot of games, it was like a hyper casual game, so it has a short.
Like
it has a short. Yeah. So by the time I updated it, and it doesn't update automatically for everyone, it's kind of some people updated it, some people didn't, and I already lost the majority of my users. So yeah.
I mean, hey, it happens. You know, there's ups and downs, but I mean, it looks good that you actually know what you're doing and you take this failure and you're learning from it. It's great.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you have any business partners that work with you?
Recently, I hired an app developer he was working freelance to me for my promo, and well, yeah, I hired him to do the cover the admin of the app once it's out now. But apart from that, no, it's just me.
The question is, I wanted to say, but the question is, you know, what are the 3 traits you look in a business partner? I mean, you can answer that for the future. What are you looking for a business partner?
I think, in the future, I'll be definitely looking for a business partner. And previously, I actually was, in the early stages, I was looking for a business partner as well, just so there was like 2 minds on when we come to an agreement on something. So it was just better. So yeah, because I was inexperienced, I was kind of wanting someone else. And even when a bit later on, when I was making my promo, I was kind of, when I was speaking to a few people, because I was speaking to a few investors and just over a few people that was interested in the idea. And I wanted an investor, but I also just wanted a business partner, just so I felt more steady about the decisions I was making and everything else. Definitely in the future, I think.
Could you name one advantage and one disadvantage of being an entrepreneur at such a young age?
Yes, I think a good advantage of this is you're able to learn a lot of stuff obviously earlier, so that I'm not going to trip up on these same mistakes later on. And I think like another big advantage is expanding your network so young. I find that a lot of the times, if I go before COVID, when I was going to events and stuff, a lot of the time, because I was so young, they'll be more inclined to like help me or give me advice and stuff like that. Yeah. So I think it does give you a head start in terms of where your mind's at and early stones that you're gonna have. Every entrepreneur will have to get over at one point. But I think a disadvantage would be, because it cost me a lot of money and time in a way that I probably wouldn't have made.
And take that to the advantage place where you have more time and maybe not more money, but you have more time, you have more money.
Actually, a pretty cool question that we wanted to ask you is, which tech tool that you use that you can't go without? Like, it's a real lifesaver, and you know, in these days, especially in Corona and COVID-19 times, which is like a tech tool that you use that you say, man, if it wasn't there, I mean, I wouldn't be able to complete my work.
Visual Studio, just the whole thing. If Visual Studio wasn't there, which is what I used to do all my coding, everything is just
what is happening.
Everything relies on Visual Studio, really. I'll say that definitely.
Entrepreneurs inspire you mostly these days? Are they also as young as you are?
It's probably Jeff Bezos, to be honest. I just think, if that's how you pronounce it, I just respect the fact that I don't know a lot about the exactly figures and stuff back in the day, but I know that when I was a lot younger, obviously Amazon wasn't as big as it is now, and I look at what they're doing now, and they own Twitch and they have their own Amazon Music. Yeah, they have so much things, and I respect the fact that he has literally made everything around. It competes with nearly every other company. Like it competes with every other company basically. So
they always win, so it's just a no-brainer.
Yeah, they've created like something in every sector. So regardless, it's there. And even if the actual Amazon marketplace came down now, there's still a lot of other like hands in baskets that it has that it will still be what it is today. So I think, yeah, definitely Jeff Bezos.
Okay, yeah, you can't go wrong with any entrepreneur, but Jeff Bezos.
Yeah,
He's the guy.
yeah.
Um, Something cool is like, which trait do you feel is like the weakest you have, and you have to outsource it? Like you said before, when you started your journey, you paid someone, a freelancer, to do certain type of work. So, what do you think is the most weakest attribute that you have right now, and you have to outsource it?
I think the weakest attribute I have right now is
If you're too good for us, that's good too.
no, no. I would say Dart. So on the app's made on Flutter. So Google's Flutter you have to use a programming language called Dart, which I haven't learned yet. So for that reason, a lot of the hard code is having to be done by this external person that I'm working with. And I can't really work on a lot of the code on that, the inside code. I've worked on the majority of the work I've done with this app is how it looks on the outside and stuff like that. So I think that's definitely my weakest point right now. But I'm gonna learn that.
But you'll overcome it.
Hopefully, yeah, I'm gonna learn that next.
We have a classic interview question here. What single piece of advice do you have to give to all the teens listening and wishing to be like you?
But do me a favor. Don't be boring. Don't give me like a
go after your dream.
A basic like a pageant queen answer. Don't give me that.
Yeah, that. In your first versions of whatever it is, whether it's specifically about apps or a physical product, whatever, I feel like the first time you physically put something out there, because it's a good feeling when you finally get something out there for your first time. But I feel like a lot of the time there is something, like maybe a major thing or not, that you look back on and you think, oh man, I didn't do this, or if I would have done that, then this would have happened. I feel like never focus on that, because if I would have focused on that, and then that would have just changed my whole mindset. And I feel like the way you view things, the way you view things can help your long time route, definitely. So always view it as, okay, I'm glad this happened now at such an early stage. So then on the next stage, I'm going to be better, and your next thing's going to go better. I think it's better for you to realize that in your first version. And it's even better if you yourself realize it.
Right.
Yeah. And another thing is, don't be always accepting to people's opinions that you're not used to. So you might be used to a certain target audience, or used to hearing your friends or your family's opinion. I think it's good, try and go out and get someone who doesn't know you, or
someone objective.
Yeah. Go out of your comfort zone basically and get feedback and advice from them. And you'll find that you'll get a lot of different answers, and it will help your mind like develop in general, I think.
Great advice.
We have a few bonus questions, and these are kind of like fun and different type of questions that you don't mostly hear in different interviews. And the first one is, which social change would you be most likely to be a part of? And there's climate change, there's different type of social changes that people they're happening right now. Which one would you like to be a part of?
So one of my main kind of goals in that way was always, when I get as successful as I want to be and the company gets where it want to be, I do want to have like an apprenticeship program or whatever, apprenticeship program to help people get into the programming industry and the app design industry, especially because I feel like in my community that all the time people don't see this as a option. Like that. A lot of the time it looks like the only way to be successful is through athletics or music or something like that. And I feel like there is actually, now that I've done it myself and kind of got into the industry a little bit, I find a lot of the time I do actually get people that I wouldn't expect popping up to me and messaging me about, oh, how do you kind of get into app development? A lot of people just don't know how to kind of get in. They just think, yeah. So I feel like there's a lot of there is a kind of a gap there in a way, because even me, when I was going to college, there wasn't a specific app development course that I was looking for. But yeah, I definitely want to make one and have that kind of to inspire people. Like, there is definitely other ways to be successful. And if it gets big enough, I do want to open that up in my home country, which is Jamaica as well. And just, yeah.
Nice.
So cool.
Not bad. I mean, amazing.
Okay, last question, my personal favorite. If you could have any superpower in the world, what would it be?
Any superpower in the world, what would it be?
And don't say flying, because that's like the worst superpower.
Right.
Yeah, no, be able to go back in time, definitely.
Right.
Just like, are we talking like time travel or like going back and forth, or you go back, you can't go forward?
Actually, yeah, but I want all, so forward and back, time traveling as a whole. To be able
Just
to go.
checking everything
Nice.
out. Don't butterfly affect us though.
Nah, so yeah, definitely time travel. I don't think anything beats that. You can just make things fall in place and you're just good. Yeah.
Right.
I said teleportation.
Yeah, that's it. Actually, yeah, that saves a lot of time, man.
I mean, yeah, snap my fingers, I'm right there in London.
Yeah, true.
That's nice.
Mm.
I mean, I would say super speed because you can control everything, right? You can run as fast as you want. You can go back in go back in time. You can go to the future because you're running so fast. So,
well, if you want
true.
to be like a smartass about it, yeah.
all right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you guys, man. Thank you guys.
All right. Thank you.
Great. Thank you.
Take care.